What is up, guys? Welcome back to Vintage 10 Customs. Today we are working on a pretty cool project. We've got an early 70s Mr. T Chevy van, and we want to get rid of that boring, bland analog gauge that's in there and put a digital dash in it. Now, we can't just take this dash, whoop, swap it on in there, and we call it a day. It ain't gonna look good, it ain't gonna look cool, most of all, it ain't gonna function. So, stick around, we'll show you the van, we'll show you what we're gonna do to make a panel for this, and hopefully get that thing in there. All right, what we have here is a 1976 Chevy van. I'm gonna show you kind of what we already are working with now and what we're hoping to accomplish. So I've already got the dash out. It is sitting, let's prop her up. It's sitting right there. Boring, boring, way boring. Now what we're gonna have to do is make a whole panel, this width and that height, everything. This is the heater controls. This is your lights. There's your wipers. These two aren't used. And the plan is, with that digital dash, is somehow get this in there. We're going to be taking the heater and we're making that vertical so all the controls are up and down. And we'll do something here with the lights and the wipers. But hopefully, when we're done, this area is no longer going to be looking like that. It's gonna look just like that. All right, so the plan is to get a piece of stainless, take this, kind of draw it out on top of that stainless, put it in the bead roll. This will kind of be like an inlay, that kind of, let me just show you kind of the idea. Okay, here we go. So here's the main panel for the digital gauges. This is the heating controls. We're going to take them from left to right and we're going to put them vertical. See how that kind of turns out. This is going to be for our lights and this is going to be for the windshield wiper. This is going to get dimpled. This will just get a 1/2 inch bead roll straight down. It's just a small little slit that windshield wiper knob goes through. We're going to bring this panel forward and hopefully that looks okay. And then this panel we're going to recess in. So kind of for my template, make sure I know which side. I got to flip it over back and forth if I want this one to be bulged out and if I want that one to be convex. So we're going to get this thing cut out of metal. We're going to make the panel just a little bit bigger than it should be so we have a little bit of room to trim and play with. So let me go ahead and get this transferred over to that piece of metal and hopefully start the process of bead rolling and dimple dyeing. Okay, we got the heater controls all bead rolled out. Had to kind of fix a couple corners. That's a sharp turn for what I was doing. So kind of had a little track here on the side from where that dial was hitting it, but got it smoothed out as best we could. We're gonna go ahead and, oh, and I also, while I was in there, went ahead and put a 1/2 inch bead in that, pushed it down because it's just a slider that goes, well, it goes left to right on the stock version. We're gonna go up and down on this one also for the wipers. If done it right, down is off, up is, I don't know, low, medium, high. Also got the hole drilled for this dimple die. This is gonna be for the headlights going in and out. I'm gonna want this to recess in to kind of match this one, not out like that. So here's this recess. That's gonna be on the back side. That'll go on top. Sandwich the panel, make a dimple. All right, I went ahead and cut this out of the piece of metal. I did bead roll the outside a little bit. I wanted to give it some sort of texture on the outside, not just looking like we just put a flat panel in there. Didn't really show you guys that. No need to keep showing you guys all this bead rolling. So tomorrow when we get out here, I will take this, put it in the van, kind of fine tune the corners, kind of get it worked up a little bit and see what we need to take off. All right. It is the next morning, and today we are going to try to figure out how to get the actual digital cluster in this panel we made yesterday. There is a cover piece. This is got a film on it. It's a black cover piece that will sit like this, and that sits behind the black cover piece. It's kind of like it's shadowed out, so when it's off, it doesn't look like there's gauges in there. Now, what I got to try to figure out is what is the diameter of those circles? How do we get them to recess into this panel? And all while trying to make this look cool and custom. So let's take a look at this and see if we can figure something out with getting that behind this. All right, so what I'm trying to figure, what I'm looking at actually is I want to get the diameter of these so they sit kind of just inside this piece of metal. We're not going to cut this whole metal piece out. We're just going to cut whatever is enough for this to portion through this metal. It ain't going to actually come through the metal, but you're just going to be able to see a kind of a line that follows the outside of this Kind of comes around, goes up, around, back down, and covering it. That way, these mounting holes have some sort of tab to mount to. Because if I just cut this whole piece out, this is just going to fall right through. Nothing's holding nothing together. So now I've got to try to understand and figure this puzzle out. And I think the first thing to do is flip it over, get this laid on the back side of it, see where it's going to sit, and start drawing some circles around the outside. That's what's going to happen now. All right, so now that we got the center, we know this panel overall was 15 and an 8. So half of 15 and an 8 should be 7.5 plus a 16th. So 7 and 9/16 from the center is going to give me the outside, because it's outside to outside. And then we'll come in an inch. That'll give me the center of this 2-inch diameter, and it should start showing me the curve. It should be pretty close to this mark, if we're close enough. So what did I say? 7 and 9/16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 9/16 is actually right beside there. Let's double check it. Perfect. All right. No, yep, there it is. All right, we got the center of the right side, which would be the left side of that gauge. Went from the center, split that 15 and 1/8 in half. Found the center of the top and the bottom. And there is roughly it. If you see, this is where we kind of use the template. If this is pretty close to an inch, so we're pretty spot on there. Now what I'll do, remember that 15 and an 1/8 was from outside to outside. So if we come in, take an inch off, that should be 14 and an 1/8. To the outside, take another inch off, should be 13 and an 1/8 to here. Okay, so now the plan is to drill a hole here, connect the dots. That'll give me this straight across, and then once we get to the center, we can kind of arc that over and arc this out. Should give me that same one. Center of this one was 3 1/4. I need to go ahead and mark that as well. 3 1/4 is going to be 1 1/2 plus an 8. It looks like 1 1/8. All right, I went ahead and cut the dash out, got all the circles cut out. I got it kind of mocked up temporarily because I think I still got to do some fine tuning on it, but let's take a look at it. All right, there you have it. There's the spoke lens. It's kind of mounted on the back. I had to take these studs and weld it to the inside here. That way we didn't see the heads poking out on the other side. Didn't really want to see all that. Got some spacers in here for that actual gauge to not touch. Do something there. But there's spacers in there to keep the instrument cluster off of that face panel. I think I want to fine tune it just a little bit. I feel like this kind of tapers in. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but it tapers in just a little bit here. So I'm going to make this kind of a little bit tighter, bring this in. And might do it here on this also, but that's what it looks like. Kind of in its mock phase. I need to get it in the van, see if this fits around the corners and all the other good stuff. Let's get this in the van. Okay, that's the idea here. I need to come in here and still kind of fine tune to get this to really sit nice and tight. Under here, it's pretty good. Around the curves. And that's what it'll look like sitting in the old captain seat. What do I mean by captain seat? They're plush. So once again, this is where we'll put the windshield wipers. We took those wipers, we turned them up and down. So now the switch will be up and down. That's the hole for the lights. And over there is heater controls. Let's now get this blown back apart, fine tune this, fine tune them little lines there, and maybe get this thing wired up. All right, we're gonna move back into the van. We're gonna show you a little bit of the wiring, show you the plumbing, and kind of what it takes to kind of get this universal digital gauge to kind of work with and kind of cooperate with this van. All right, so universal gauge. Even if you buy a vehicle-specific gauge, it's still going to come with everything you're going to need. It comes with a speedometer adapter. It comes with the oil pressure. I'm sorry, that's the temp. It comes with a temp sensor. It comes with the oil pressure sensor. It comes with a bunch of fittings. It comes with pretty much everything you need to get these gauges wired up to whatever motor you have. Now, with this thing has been LS swapped. So if you have an LS and you're in an old vehicle, whatever, you're going to need one of their LS kits. And basically all that is these two bushings. Comes with a brass washer or copper washer. Basically, these are going to go into the block, and then it's going to adapt down to your oil pressure unit and your temp sensing unit. So if you have an LS, do it. Now, this van has already got some aftermarket. It's got a tack up here. It's got some water, oil, and battery gauges back here. So I'm pretty certain they already have the fittings and the adapters in here. However, I hadn't broken into this van yet when we were getting all the parts ready for it, so I went ahead and bought the kit. I think it's like $8 or $10 for the kit. So I'm going to show you what we're going to need to do and put where these are going to need to go, and then we'll start kind of going through a little bit of the wiring. Not all the wiring, just kind of the basics of it. Okay, so here is the back of the LS. We're obviously inside the van, underneath the doghouse, and what we're going to be going after first is the oil pressure sending unit. So right here on the back of the block, get you a better view. Right there is the oil sending unit. I'm just going to cut the oil line there. Probably going to have cleanup on. Oh, not so bad. All right. 7/16 wrench. Get that loose. Get for that. Come on. Now hopefully, yes. Yep. Oh, it's gonna fit in there all the way like it's supposed to. Well, we're running into, this is hitting that bolt. All right, let's see what I can do here. Okay, so I thought I was going to be having to do something here, but it looks really tight. But if you look, it just barely clears it. So I was able to get this snug down. Connector is definitely out of the way. So we should be good there. We'll come back and wire it all up here and once we get to the wiring portion. Now, once again, aftermarket gauges, so somewhere in here we know they've got the coolant or temp sensor wired up also. So this little guy should be able to plug in somewhere already on here. Now, if it was me and I was doing it, because I want everything kind of inside the van if I'm working on it, I'd be coming right here to this back sensor on the passenger side. I'd take off that stock sensor, pull that plug out of there, and that's where I'd be putting my temp sensor with the adapter. However, that's what they did not do here. So if you look here, this is kind of the line they're using to travel it up, and it looks like it's going all the way up the front right there and down. So now we gotta go to the front of the truck, van, whatever you want to call this thing, and look, see where they put that. All right, front of the van, let's follow you down there. That right there there's the line. It's going to the side of the block. It's got an adapter here and a bunch of other adapters. So I'm hoping I can take this back one off there and it'll kind of take the fitting I have and not have to go all the way back to the block. So let's get that pulled out, get something under there, because I'm pretty sure we're going to leak some juice. Get that installed. All right, the dash is all trimmed up. It's painted. Got all the knobs back on there, all the little doohickeys that control the heaters and defrosters and whatever else. So let's go ahead and go outside, take a look at the van, crank it over, see what it looks all lit, see what it looks like all lit up. Let's go. Well, we definitely got some snow last night. I think they're even calling for snow on Friday, so not too happy with the snow situation, but it is what it is. All right. Ooh. It's frozen. So I went ahead and painted it up, got it final trimmed, got the mounting hardware installed there. Now you are going to see these. There was no way really for me to hide them, make them flush mount or whatever. Plus the customer kind of wanted easy access to get to those in case he had to take this off. Let's see, keys. All right, the big reveal. Nice. So if you remember, we took the heater controls, turned them up and down, took them from horizontal, made them vertical. Windshield wipers, lights, and there you go. Let's see if we can get this thing cold started. Oh, we're not gonna be able to get it started. She's dead. Cold weather and such. So there you go, volts, oil, tack, everything works on here. We got temp, and it looks like fuel. Look, well, we can't even get you to show you some blinkers, can we? Nope. You just gotta trust that they blink. They blink somewhere in here and somewhere in there, but there it is. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. We were going to take something from the 70s, kind of bring it into the new age. Modern technology with some digital dash, digital gauges, whatever you want to call it. It does have LS swap in it, so it kind of gives it some cool points anyways. Thanks a lot for sticking around. We will see you guys next time. Oh, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, hit that like, dislike, make a comment down below. Let me know you guys are out there. Let me know what you guys think about these builds. So thanks a lot again. We will see you next time.